What is up, everyone? We are here talking about UFC 324. Finally, we have a fight to watch. It's been a long break. 6 weeks felt like a lot longer than that. I was kind of excited for the break and obviously excited for Paramount Plus, but overall, I'm ready to be back. And yeah, I'm excited for this card because this is a pretty stacked card. I'm looking forward to it. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. First fight in the card is Adam Fugit versus Ty Miller. So Ty Miller is coming off the Contender Series. Looks really good in that, making his debut. And Adam Fugit is a kind of veteran of the sport. He's coming off a KO loss against, I'm trying to think of the guy's name. It's like Islam Dulatov, I believe. It's like the model or whatever. He got knocked out by him, which I feel like you could kind of see that from a mile away. But overall, Adam's a pretty good fighter. But Ty Miller, he's younger. He looked really good in his last fight. And Ty Miller, he's making his debut, so, he's very green. A lot of people worry about, people just go around like they're in like the bright lights and kind of just falling under pressure. I wouldn't be surprised, especially with Adam Fugit and just like how much experience he has. And he's not a bad fighter whatsoever. So I wouldn't be surprised if Adam Fugit can kind of squeak out a decision. Ty Miller seems to be kind of a slow starter, but I suspect he's probably going to try to pick up the pace a little bit faster since this is in front of a big crowd and his UFC debut. So I'm imagining he's going to want to make a statement. I'm going to go with Ty Miller, but Adam Fugit is definitely live to make something happen for sure. Right now the odds, they don't show them on screen right now. I'm on the UFC website and it's crazy. Well, look at this next fight. Look how it displays. Like this company, man, it's like what, $7 billion for the Paramount Plus deal, and they can't fix their website. It's crazy. Anyways, Adam Fugit's a plus 340, actually plus 350, and Ty Miller is a minus 455. So, I mean, I wouldn't tail this at all. I would even lean towards putting some money on Adam Fugit or put him in a parlay. But my official pick is going to be Ty Miller by, I don't know, I'll go knockout. We'll go knockout. Yeah, why not? So good fight, starting off the card. Next, we got these two goobers that are just profiles on the UFC website. I don't even know this guy's name, actually. It's like Ricky Turcos, I think, and then Cameron Smotherman. Cameron Smotherman coming off a loss against Ricky Simone, which isn't a bad loss, but I thought he looked actually pretty decent. I think in that fight, like Ricky Simone was like a minus like 300 favorite, but Smotherman looked pretty good. Like I don't think he was deserving of like that big of an underdog, and he is the favorite in this fight. He's sitting at a minus like 192. Ricky Turcos, I don't really know anything about the guy, to be honest, but I've seen he's just a little wild and not really that good. I think this is going to be an easy win for Cameron Smotherman because I think he is good. Like, he has good boxing, and as long as he keeps on the feet, man, I think he's going to piece up Ricky and make pretty quick work of him, actually. I think maybe like a late first round stoppage could happen. But I think overall, I got to go with Smotherman on this one. There's not much to look at with this, but yeah, I got Smotherman by TKO in the first round. Kind of a crazy pick, I guess you could say, but I think it's going to happen. Yeah, finally, now we got actual profiles that are correct. Denzel Freeman versus Josh Hockett. Similar to Ricky, I don't know anything about these two guys. I know they're two heavyweight blobs. I think Josh Hockett has the wrestling, like this like kind of brash personality, and yeah, kind of just like bulldozes forward to get the takedowns, while Denzel Freeman has better boxing and on the feet striking. So I feel like you got to go with Hockett just because he can be so aggressive with the takedowns. Like, he'll really go for him. Like I said, I'm kind of just flipping a coin on this one. Hackett is a favorite. He's a minus 238, and Freeman's a plus 192. I would not try to do anything with this one. I think it's going to be... I kind of suspect this is going to be a boring one. Unless Freeman can somehow knock out Hackett, I just think it's going to be a very uneventful fight. But we'll have to wait and see. So, now, moving on to the good stuff. The next several fights are excellent. So, Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. Dude, Hernandez has looked so good, and I don't know what's going on. It's weird because I saw him live in at UFC 307, and I didn't even realize it was him. And I thought he did really well. I guess it was like against like he fought against Austin Hubbard in that fight, and I haven't watched it back, but I thought during the live, I thought it was a good fight. But since then, man, like Hernandez has looked so good. He's coming off a win against Diego Ferreira, and then knocked out everybody's GOAT, Chase Hooper. So that was a pretty hard watch. I saw that live as Hernandez killed my parlay. Anyways, Michael Johnson is on a win streak of himself too. I mean, the dude's like I think 39 years old. He looked so damn fast and so good against Daniel Zellhuber, which Johnson was like a, I don't even know, like a plus 500 underdog, I think. It's insane, dude. He looked so good. He looked super fast. Both these guys have looked really excellent. It's kind of just a flip of a coin at this point who is going to win because both guys have looked really good. I think Hernandez has a lot of power in his hands, while Johnson does have power, but more of the speed advantage. Hernandez could definitely catch him with like an overhand right, which has worked on like his last two opponents. But I think I'm gonna side with the underdog because these odds are really close. But I think I'm gonna go with Johnson, dude. I think. Just from what I saw in the last fight, he looked so excellent. He looked super fast. I think he's going to frustrate Hernandez. And I think he's even going to TKO Hernandez. Because Hernandez doesn't have like a crazy good chin. And has been KO'd in the past. I just think that with that speed and with... I mean, these guys are both experienced, obviously. But I think Johnson's got this, man. I really do. I don't know. There's just something about it. He's a plus 130 underdog right now. So pretty close odds. I don't know. This one's a tough one to pick though, for sure. But something tells me Johnson, so I'm gonna go with Michael Johnson on this one. Moving on, we got Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. Kind of ironic, I don't know. Alex Perez is coming off a loss against I'm trying to think, Asu Amabayev, where I picked Alex Perez to win. I thought he was going to just somehow pull this off. I had like this like feeling about it. He was coming close, and he was looking really good in the first couple rounds. But then he gets caught in a standing guillotine, and it was a rough one to watch. But I think Alex Perez is really good, but I think Charles Johnson's is just better. He's coming off a win against Loner Kavanaugh, and I mean, shit. That is an excellent win because I know a lot of people were hyping up Kavanaugh as this big flyweight prospect who was undefeated in the UFC prior to fighting Charles Johnson. But as we all know, if you get knocked out by Charles Johnson, you win the UFC title in a few years. That's what happened to Joshua Van, actually. Anyways, I got to go with Charles Johnson. I think he's just going to be... I don't know, just more skilled. He's going to have a deeper tool bag. He's going to be faster than Alex Perez. But I think it's going to be a good fight. I think this is going to go to decision, honestly. And I think it's going to be like a 30-27 Charles Johnson. So, odds actually have Johnson as the favorite. He's a minus 185, but Alex Perez is a plus 154. So, it's a pretty close odds. Maybe even pick like the over 2.5 rounds, but, you know. That's always kind of scary because you're kind of just like watching the clock. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens with this one. I think in that picture, does Alex Perez have like a Band-Aid on his foot? I don't even know. Anyways, moving on to the prelims. Nikita Krylov versus Mateusz Bukauskas. Man, I feel bad for Krylov. I've picked him in his last two fights to lose, and he's lost. He lost against Dominic Reyes via nasty, I think, first round KO. Yeah, it was a first round. And then I picked him to get knocked out by Bogdan Guskov, gets knocked out, and he's just looked bad. Like, the dude's been in the UFC for a while. I don't know what's going on with him. I think there's been like a lot of issues just with like maybe where he's from or something. I don't know. Yeah, the thing says Ukraine, but his flag is Russia. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I think Krylov is just, he's washed. And I don't think Bukowskis is this like world beater. You know, he's coming off a KO win against Paul Craig, but honestly, who has not KO'd Paul Craig? I like Paul Craig, and he retired, and respect to him, but I mean, not great wins by Bukowskis. But I just overall think that Bukowskis is going to win this one because Krylov makes so many mistakes in his fights. Like, just look back at the last couple fights I just talked about. Dominic Reyes, he just rushes in and gets KO'd, flatline KO'd. You could just see it from a mile away that he's about to blitz in. And then Bogdan Guskov, you know, throws a naked leg kick with no setup, just leaves his chin right on the platter. Bogdan Guskov, being the heavy puncher he is, just finds the chin. And then as he's down, try to get the ground and pound, Krylov goes for like I think a heel hook. I can't pick Krylov. In a way, I am rooting for him. I hope he can get this win. But then again, I kind of like Bukowskis just because he was on like that KO loss against Khalil Roundtree looked pretty rough, and I don't know, man. This one's a tough one to pick just because feelings. it's a little emotional based, I guess, but I think I'm gonna go with Mateusz Bukowskis. I think it just makes sense, dude. But I am going to be rooting for Krylov. The odds are actually really close. So Bukowski's is only a minus 148, while Krylov is a plus 124. And under 1.5 rounds is a plus 100. I would definitely tail that. I would be pretty confident in picking that, honestly. I think this is going to be a pretty quick fight, and with Krylov's history and Bukowski's history, I feel like it's just kind of due for being a quick fight. So, Bukowskis by, let's say, I don't know, KO in the beginning of the second round. Let's do that. All right, moving on. Discount Francis Ngannou. Actually, not even discount. Better Francis Ngannou. I said it. Man, Atiba Gutierrez versus Andre Puliev. I watched Puliev's fight against CLD, Christian Leroy Duncan, I believe. It was an absolute stinker. And what I saw in that fight is Puliev was so just like willing to just back up to the cage. And didn't really have anything that like threatened CLD. How in the world is he going to have anything that threats Atiba Gutierrez, who is actually a really excellent fighter? Like, he stalks down his opponents. He has technical striking, a lot more versatility, because I know a lot of people compare him to Francis Ngannou because he's from the same country, but overall, he is a better fighter, at least as of right now. I mean, we haven't seen him much in the UFC, but still, he's looked really good. And he has a lot more versatility, like in his striking. I just don't think this is going to be competitive at all. I mean, the odds even have it showing Gutierrez by a minus 850, with Puliev being a plus 575. I can't see in what world Puliev wins this, unless he just pushes Gutierrez against the fence and just like kind of drags us out to a boring fight. But overall, you have to pick Atiba Gutierrez to get a KO in the first round. I mean, there's not much to it, man. It just makes sense. It's just one of those fights that you just have to pick him by KO. So, enough said about that one. I don't think I have to go into too much detail with that. Moving on. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Davison Figueiredo. Dude, speaking of stupid odds, before I even talk about this fight, let me read you the odds for this. Okay, it's not as bad as it was, but it was crazy. Dude, I checked this thing like when it first came out, this fight, like the fights got announced, and Umar I think was like a minus like 400 or something when I first checked. And then recently, well, actually, I'll just tell you what it is now. So now Umar Nurmagomedov is a minus 1450, 1,450, while Davison Figueiredo is a plus 850. I don't know about you, but that's insane. I don't understand it whatsoever. I mean, I know Umar is really good, and I know Figueiredo's a little washed. He's just older, you know. But still, former flyweight champion, had a good fight with Peter Yan, got 50-45, but it wasn't pure domination by Peter Yan. It was, you know, there's different 50-45s, you know what I mean? There's a Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree 50-45, where Khalil's just like obviously outschooling Jamal in every regard. And then there's a JDM versus Bilal Muhammad 50-45, which is like very competitive, but still the edge goes to Jack. I feel like these odds are insane. I don't agree with them whatsoever. I know Umar's really good. He's coming off a win against Mario Batista, which I think Mario Batista would beat Figueiredo. But dude, screw it. I don't care. I'm picking Figueiredo by KO. I don't know, man. I don't care. I really don't care, because this is ridiculous. And it'd be insane. It'd be the funniest thing ever if Figueiredo somehow times a knee like Mario Batista did, where he split for a split second, dropped Umar. Dude, if Figgy can do that, I mean, holy shit. Like, I don't know. My reasoning for this fight isn't really sound at all. I'm just more picking based on I like Figueiredo and I don't like Umar, and these odds are insane. So let's just go with that. Obviously, don't do anything with this fight. If you're gonna pick someone, pick Umar by submission. You'll get a lot more money that way, because if you just parlay him or pick him in general, I mean, that's insane. You have to bet $1,450 just to win $100. Don't do this. Let's move on. It'll still be a good fight, though. I will enjoy this one. Moving on to the main card, the moment we've all been waiting for. Jean Silva versus Arnold Allen. Now, I'll admit, I picked John Silva to beat Diego Lopez. I thought he was going to absolutely school Diego Lopez, but my biggest worry was, how is Diego Lopez going to get knocked out? And we saw in that fight, Lopez has a chin made of, I don't even know, some unknown material that we haven't discovered yet. John Silva still looked really good in that fight. Even though he got dominated the first round and arguably got 10-8'd by Lopez. The versatility in striking and just the depth of his strikes in general. He looked so excellent in that second round. And with Arnold Allen, great fighter. I like Arnold Allen. I really do. I'm going to be Arnolding my Allen during this fight. But he's been out for, I think, like a year and a half now. He's plagued by injuries. He's an excellent fighter, don't get me wrong, with a competitive decision with Max Holloway, but still got kind of dominated. Went to a close decision with Movsar Evloev, which people think that Allen actually won that one. And yeah, he's a good fighter. Really, honestly, a great fighter. Like top 5, top 8, maybe. Probably top 8, honestly. But to be honest, man, like, this is a tough fight for Arnold Allen to come back to after having such a long layoff. I think Arnold Allen's going to look slower than he did in the past. I think John Silva's going to be tagging him with the feet. I think this is going to be an easy win for John Silva. Even though he's going to maybe toy with his food. I don't know. Maybe Silva will come into this fight with a different mindset, because he got overzealous in that Lopez fight, and honestly, he messed up. Like, he was the one that lost that fight. It wasn't some fluke or anything. It was him just being an idiot. Um, but yeah, man, I think this is gonna be honestly quick work for Jean Silva. The odds share a similar opinion. So right now they have Arnold Allen at a plus 215, which is pretty solid actually, and then John Silva by a minus 265. I think it's pretty fair, honestly. I think earlier it was like a 3-1 favorite for John Silva, but still, I'm gonna pick Silva by KO in the, I don't know, under 2.5, under 2.5, because that's plus money right there. So, but yeah, I got John Silva by KO, but I wouldn't be surprised by a submission either. He's likely to do that as well. So if you're gonna tell this, do under 2.5 because maybe Arnold Allen can pull something out of his bag, and maybe he's been training for, he's gonna come back and look better than ever, and maybe he's gonna KO John Silva. We just saw Silva get KO'd, so go under 2.5. I mean, I think that's a pretty safe bet to make, and you do plus 100. So moving on, great fight though. I'm really looking forward to that one. This fight that everybody's talking about, dude. People can't stop talking about this one, man. I hear people at work. I hear people at the gym talking about this fight. Man, I'm not trying to be mean, but why does Rose look like that? Anyways, Natalia Silva's going to piece up Rose Namajunas on the outside, kicking her, striking her down. It's just going to be her playing with her food, like she did Alexa Grasso. I think Rose Namajunas is going to have some moments where she just kind of toughens through it. But I think overall, Natalia Silva is going to cruise her way to a decision. Moving on. We don't need to talk about that one anymore. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis looks really shiny in this picture. But anyways, Waldo Cortez Acosta. I was hating on this guy really bad when he fought Sergey Spivak. I thought Spivak won that. I thought the fight or the strikes he was trying to land weren't landing whatsoever. And I thought Sergey won that. But he has looked really good in his last few fights. He's been super active. He knocked out Shamil the Blob Gaziev. He knocked out Tom Aspinall's boy. I can't even think of his name, honestly. And then before that, lost against Sergey Pavlovich. So, extremely active. I think he fought 5 times in a matter of a year. And then Derek Lewis fluked to win over Taliesin Teixeira with another KO. Man, I'm going with Acosta, but don't be surprised if Derek Lewis goes out there and manages to get another fluke KO. I would pick this one to go under 1.5, honestly. I think it's going to be a pretty quick fight that both guys are going to be kind of going out there just to put a statement on, honestly. Because it's the first card of the year, first card for Paramount Plus. I think these guys are truly going to go out there and just lay waste to each other. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, because this could turn into a super boring fight as well. But I have a suspicion that this is going to be a pretty quick fight. So I got Acosta by KO under 1.5. And yeah, it's going to be a solid win for him. So next fight, we got Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. It was supposed to be Amanda Nunes versus Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison got injured. So now we got this one. A really excellent fight, though. I wish it was 5 rounds, to be honest. Dude, speaking of goofy, Sean O'Malley looks super goofy in that picture. This should be an easy fight for Sean O'Malley. But the more I think about this one, the more I put him into question. I don't know if Sean O'Malley is as motivated as he used to be. I think he's shown that he can be really good, like the Peter Yan fight or the Aljamain Sterling fight. Excellent fights. Even the Merab fight, the first fight, he looked pretty bad. He looked pretty flat-footed, but overall did well, had some good moments, and went to a close decision with Merab. But then after that, he got smoked by Merab. And like I said, he did well in the first fight, but overall, looked really flat. didn't look like himself and was like, oh, I had a broken rib or some shit. I don't know, man. I question Sean O'Malley's just energy, and willingness to go into the fight and put on a show. I think this is going to be, I don't know. This is going to be a close fight. I think it's going to go to decision. Song Yudong's looked really good. I really haven't talked about him. Sorry. Song Yudong's looked really good. He's coming off a win against Henry Cejudo, which hasn't really aged the best, but has fought the likes of Peter Yan, Corey Sandhagen. He's a really solid fighter, and he's young, and he's been in the UFC for a while now, and he's kind of just maintained that same ranking for quite a bit now. Man, it isn't crazy to me to pick Song Yudong in this one. Like, I get it. I really do. But I am going to pick Sean O'Malley. I'm going to put my trust into him. Because I do suspect that he's going to get this win, then probably get in talks of fighting for the title next. But I got Sugar Sean O'Malley by decision to beat Song Yudong. So, last but not least, we got Big Rufus versus Paddy, the Baddie Pimblett. I don't know. I somewhat care about this fight, but I kind of don't though at the same time. It's a fight that I'm like, it shouldn't be happening, to be quite honest. Paddy Pimblett kind of has had like a Mickey Mouse run to the title. Justin Gaethje, I think I'm trying to think, 3-2 in his last 5, I believe. So I'm not too hyped about this. It should be like Max Holloway versus Arman Tsarukyan, but it's not. But so we have this. Paddy is a good fighter. I don't think he's that great though. I think almost everybody beats him in the lightweight division. That's like in the top 5. I think Oliveira would beat him. I think Arman would beat him very easily. Ilya very easily. And Max Holloway, I think, would absolutely school Pimblett on the feet quite easily and get him out of there, And same thing with Gaethje. I don't know, man. I don't think that Pimblett's that good. I think Gaethje's really good, but he is older. I don't think he's washed, but he's just older. Like, he has maybe slowed down a little bit more reckless too, which is not good when you're going against someone who has really good jiu-jitsu. And me seeing Gaethje get put in a reverse triangle by Fiziev, who isn't touted as this, great jiu-jitsu artist or anything like that, or even wrestler. He has good takedowns. He can get you down to kind of just kind of work on scoring up points, and like he did the Ignacio Bahamondes. But man, seeing that in his last fight, how could you pick Gaethje to beat Pimblett? Even though Pimblett is trash on the feet, I think he's so bad. His defense is terrible, but he just wings shots. So, I mean, maybe he could KO Rufus, Gaethje, but man, I don't know. I gotta side with Pimblett on this one. I think he's gonna win by submission. I think it's gonna go over 2.5 rounds. I think it's gonna be kind of a slow build, and then it's just kind of explode where Pimblett gets him on the ground and he's like a scramble, and then Pimblett just sinks up a submission, and Gaethje either taps or gets put out, and then Gaethje hangs it up most likely, and we see Paddy versus Ilya in the future. So my last pick is going to be Paddy Pimblett by submission. I just can't see a world where Justin Gaethje is the interim champion again. No disrespect to him. I think he's a great fighter, but I'm just playing it real because I just can't imagine it. But still, respect to both guys. Honestly, I'm not trying to hate on either one of them, but I'm just trying to give my honest opinion. But my final pick is going to be Pimblett by submission. And let's just say like round 3 or something. So anyways, that's it for the video. I hope this card is fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm predicting there's gonna be a lot of finishes. I think I only predicted like a few decisions. Um, so yeah, this should be a really good card. It's looked really stacked, and I'm hoping to do a prediction video on 325 in the next week or so. So look forward to that. And if you guys want to let me know what your picks are, let me down in the comments. And if I'm right about Figueiredo, you owe me a subscribe. If you come back to this video and click subscribe, because if I'm right about that shit, man, you guys gotta find out what I'm gonna pick next. So thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.